His poll numbers weren't too great. I think that when Kamala Harris became the candidate for the Democratic Party, that was really the beginning of the end for RFK Jr.'s campaign. He was attracting people who didn't want to see a Trump-Biden rematch. And when she came onto the scene, of course, there was an alternative candidate to vote for. He was also struggling to keep funding going. And he was making headlines for a number of bizarre encounters with animals. There was his admission that he had, at one point, he said had a worm, a parasite in his brain. A photo then surfaced where people said he was shown eating a dog. He later said that wasn't a dog, it was a goat. And then most recently, he made headlines again after admitting that he had put a dead bear cub in Central Park as a prank. So I think you know that your time is coming to an end when that's the sort of thing making headlines rather than your policies. But in announcing that he was suspending the campaign, RFK Jr., of course, didn't mention all of that, but said that he hadn't ever been given a fair go. He wasn't allowed, for example, didn't make the criteria to make it onto the debate stage with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. At the time, he said the Democrats had been instrumental in making sure he wasn't on the ballot in a number of states. And he said that he felt that he was aligned with Donald Trump on some key issues. Now, this is a man who hails from an esteemed Democratic family, the Kennedy family, saying he found common ground with Donald Trump on issues such as the funding for the war in Ukraine and border security. He did, however, admit that he had tried to approach Kamala Harris's campaign. There was reporting around that last week. He said, however, that they had not responded. He was therefore making what he said was a heart-wrenching decision to back Donald Trump.
So what's been the reaction to this news, Barb?
Well, Donald Trump has called it a very nice endorsement. We're still not clear whether RFK Jr. might appear on stage with him at a rally that Donald Trump is holding shortly in Arizona. And we're not really clear whether RFK Jr. now has some kind of formal role in the Trump campaign or has in fact been promised a possible role in any future Trump administration if Donald Trump were to win this November's presidential election. From the Kennedy family, quite a different reaction. Many prominent members of his family have been angry that he started running as a Democratic candidate. They didn't like that because they thought he should support Joe Biden. He then decided to run as an independent. They didn't like that because they thought it could take votes away from the Democratic Party. And they certainly don't like that he's now said that he backs Donald Trump. 5 of his siblings releasing a statement saying, "We believe in Harris and Walz. Our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump today is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear." And we also heard briefly from the Harris campaign. The headline of their statement suggested it was a reaction to RFK Jr.'s announcement, but there wasn't much detail on that. They just said that people who were tired of Donald Trump should come to them. Be very interesting, I think, to see how this plays out in the polls, because although he had small polling numbers, as you know, in the race for the White House, very small shifts here or there, particularly in swing states, can be decisive.